folks. I'm your host, Commissioner Tom Anderson, and this is the All-Star edition of Weekly Wiffs. We have officially made it to 12 games in the 2016 regular season, and we've hit the All-Star break. And the All-Star break is always a good time to reflect on what we've done so far this season and to have some fun with other league mates. And we have an All-Star game against another league, even though it's not the same league we discussed in prior episodes. It's a better league, and we definitely have our work cut out for us, facing the NEAWL, established around the same time we were. These guys are veterans, a lot older than us. Well, not a lot, some of them are, but they play a lot of football, and we definitely have a work cut out for us. So it'll definitely be a close game. But to go over some rules in that game, it's a 9-inning game. Voting has already started, by the way. Voting's wrapping up tomorrow. There's definitely some valid arguments for the people that have locked up spots for it, but there are some snubs, unfortunately. That always happens, and like I said, a lot of people didn't vote on. There is a lot of snubs. A lot of people didn't vote on statistics, which is sad. But either way, it's going to be an 8-on-8 game, 9-inning game. The max a pitcher can pitch is 2 innings, and same old rules as usual. Besides, there's scuff balls, which is definitely going to be an interesting aspect for our players, anyways. And yeah, it's definitely going to shake things up, and it'll definitely be fun to see how we do. I mean, this is actually our first official game against another league, so we gotta see what we're really made of. And we were voted best league in Massachusetts. Just want to put that out there. That was in the off season though, so we just gotta prove it now. And yeah, after this game on Sunday, this game will start at 11:45 on Sunday. The official All-Star team will be announced tomorrow, but the game will start Sunday at 11:45. Then as soon as the game's over, the home run derby will start on the dirt field. Then $5 entry, winner takes all. Always a fun time. Hope to see you guys down there, and I think that's it for me. I'm heading over to Across the League now. Eric?
Hello, PBL Universe. This is Across the League, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Brian Quintadamo.
Eric,
have you as always.
Good to see you as well.
And then we have another special guest for the second week in a row. We have the Commissioner Tom Anderson.
Thank you guys for having me again. It's always a pleasure.
It definitely is. But we're at the All-Star break. Standings are pretty wild. It's the first time it's ever looked like this. Lemurs are still perfect.
Somehow.
How is that happening, Tom?
Honestly, it's just our team working together as one. Last week was probably the worst weekend we played together as a team. Like that was probably we only had 3 people, which was also a first this year. And I just say it was definitely our weakest team, but we still put up 11 runs and won by 9. So I mean, that's saying something for this year, and hopefully we can keep it rolling.
I certainly hope so. But coming up after the All-Star break, we got the Rams and Warriors, so those will be 2 tough games, especially if Scully and Dylan are there. So we'll definitely see how that goes. But the Larry, second place, 7-5. I think they're finally starting to find their groove.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically we've been relying on the core of our team to provide runs consistently, which we've been doing. You know, Kyle's been consistently our #1 hitter. Pete's been coming around. He has the most home runs on our team. And then luckily I've been able to find my stride up at bat, and it's just been clicking, working together, and it's been producing some wins for the team.
You guys are definitely starting to fire on all cylinders, and you are finally producing. Like the first couple games, it took you a little while, but you are starting to produce some numbers, which is good to see.
About damn time.
Yeah, I know.
But the Rhinos, third place, 6-6. Where do we think they're going to finish? I don't think they'll be in third place. I think they'll be a 4 or 5 seed again for the second year in a row.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
depending.
Yeah, you can go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say it depends on a lot. It depends on if the Biscuits get their stuff together, and it depends on if the Warriors have Dylan. Because if the Warriors don't have Dylan, the Warriors are not a 3 seed team. They're probably going to be a 5 seed team because they, for whatever reason, they just don't play as well when Dylan's pitching, or just Dylan's presence in general. When he's there, however, they are a very dominant team, a very scary team, and one that needs to definitely been kept on everyone's radar. And then the Biscuits, it looks like Nate Powers right now is the Biscuits ace.
It's kind of sad. We also had so much potential early on in the season.
Yeah, I mean, you know, no disrespect to Nate either. He's actually pitching extremely well. I was watching They came against the Warriors for a little bit, and that was actually quite the showdown.
He actually had 10
Yeah,
Ks.
10 Ks.
Yeah.
I think that's a career high.
Yeah, it definitely is.
So he needs to keep that up, but they need arms. They can't just. I think they really were relying on Russell to carry that team, and obviously that hasn't been able to pull through as well as they thought. And now Nate's been stepping up, and then we haven't really seen Fahey on the mound, and then after that they really have. I don't think anyone that they can rely on to help stop the bleeding if needed. So it's really going to depend on those two teams of where the Rhinos are going to end up, because they can stay pretty consistently at 500, I believe.
Yeah, that's another reason why the trade deadline's so huge. Trade deadline's next Friday, just so everyone knows, not this one, the next one, before next set of games. But I can see those two teams definitely making a move, Warriors and Biscuits. I mean,
I definitely feel like Colin Hines is
yeah, like
a
he
huge
could
asset.
100% be on the move. He could be a solid addition to any team too. So, I mean, definitely gonna be interesting to see what goes down.
Yeah. Well, friggin' when he faced Dylan first at bat, he had
Yeah,
a dinger. So
Yeah, I'm seeing
he definitely has some presence in the lineup wherever he may end up. But the Warriors fourth place, 6-6. And you brought up the point of Dylan. Dylan's only shown up to 2 games. He's got to make 7.
Mhm.
And there's only going to be 8 games left. So he has to make it to 3 out of the last 4 weekends, which I don't really see happening. I think it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and if that does happen, he is not eligible for playoffs. The Warriors could be the number 1 seed. I don't see them going back past the first round if that happens.
I mean, honestly, like hands down, if Dylan is not playoff eligible, the Warriors will not make it anywhere past the first round of playoffs. That's almost a guarantee. I mean, no disrespect to the team; they're a solid team. It's just you need that ace pitcher, and Dylan brings so much to the team. Without Dylan, we've seen it so far this year. Without Dylan, that team is very unsuccessful. I mean, it's definitely a whole different ball game when Dylan is there. So
Yeah, they
We'll
do
see
have
how it
their
goes
solid core too of Weldon and Lear, but
All
Lear's been having trouble just fielding a team consistently every week, which
Just
always
limited,
seems to be
yeah.
the case.
there's no pitching there between the two of them. Which
Right.
is,
Yeah, and then on paper, like after the draft, he probably had the best team.
hands down.
Absolutely.
Just no commitment has been killer.
Sucks.
Yeah, I would say even Dylan's presence this past weekend.
Yeah, it's like nice.
Everyone, it was like almost a catalyst for the whole Warriors team.
It
That
was.
once he showed up, Weldon started hitting again. Lear has still been consistently hitting, but he was obviously hitting well. And then Dylan comes in and hits while the team it looked 100% difference between this past weekend and the past weekends before that we've seen him. It's a real difference maker, and if he's not able to come through the playoffs, I don't see that team doing too well.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna be hurting. But then again, the game of wiffle ball is
Unpredictable.
nobody knows what's gonna happen, so it should be interesting. But the Biscuits, 5th place right now, 5-7. They were looking good in the second seed for a while, but they're starting to falter. They're 0-4 the last 4 games, and you brought up the point of Russell. I don't know what's happened with him. His last 2 starts have not been very good, and especially this past weekend, he got 1 out, gave up 7 runs, couldn't find the strike zone. But I definitely agree that Nate is pretty much the ace right now.
Mhm.
And I'm surprised that Fahey hasn't pitched more, and although Dean looked pretty good on the mound, so he might be a blessing in disguise for the
Yeah, for
Biscuits.
real. I mean, Dean has never been given an opportunity to pitch until this season with the Biscuits, and honestly, he does not look bad at all. I mean, he could definitely be a force if he practices and gets more opportunities. He could definitely make something out of that. That was not on any scouting report for Dean Lemansky at all. Pitching was never included, but
So
it's definitely an added aspect to his game.
Bringing up the rear, Llamas, still winless. I think it's official to say you're screwed.
Llamas are dead.
Yeah, those poor fucking bastards.
Good luck next year.
Yeah.
I'm
Honestly,
sorry. I love the Llamas. They're a
Yeah.
great team, but
It's
unless the wheels just come off for any of the teams. Basically, the Biscuits have to lose the rest of their games, and the Llamas have to win the rest of their games for even the slightest chance for them to make the playoffs.
That also brings up the question: do you think there's a chance for a team to go winless for the first time ever in history this year?
Yeah, I do, because they've already done it 12 times. They've already lost 12 times.
I'm gonna
That's
be
incredible.
I feel like they'll get
I really hope so.
They'll get one win.
I hope they do because they're a fun team to watch,
Yeah.
but I just don't think that's going to happen. I think the core teams are just too good for.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine we have one winless team first time ever and one undefeated team first time ever in the same season. That would definitely not be able to.
Yeah, that'd be one for the books.
Yeah, that'd
that
be
would never
ridiculous.
happen again.
Wow.
But the Lions, their biggest need is pitching. I mean, their hitting
Yeah.
isn't too bad.
No.
After Cook, they have no pitching.
Right.
And it's terrible. They almost beat the Warriors. That was kind of a shit show game, but
I wish they did.
it was fairly exciting to watch.
Yeah, it was, especially it was such a thriller. Half of the games have been super close, comes down to the last L,
Right.
which is super frustrating. I mean, I hope they get some wins just for like the sake of like, hey mom, look what I did today.
Yeah.
Something like that. It was just, I really hope they get something underneath their belts.
Although what I will say is Jeffries finally came around for the first time all season.
Yeah.
It was nice to see him finally start hitting, which is, I don't know if it's going to be enough though.
It might be too little too late. I mean, the team that they're going to catch up to already has 5 wins. And like that's just, there's only 10 games, 8 games left. And, yeah, dude,
Yeah, they're going to win at least 7 out of 8, and
that's insane.
highly unlikely.
That's almost impossible.
It's unfortunate, but maybe they could play spoiler in the last couple weeks.
Dude,
Yeah.
honestly, I'm not saying they're 100% out yet. I don't want to be that guy because, miracles do happen, but they got to get their shit together real fast.
I think they're out, but they can definitely help maneuver the middle
Yeah,
seeding.
100%. They definitely play spoiler. And I would love to see that too. And fuck over some other team would be nice.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt Cook would. He'd have fun doing that
Yeah,
too.
it
But this Sunday, it's the All-Star game. We're not playing a league that we were originally supposed to. We're actually playing John's league, which has been around for about the same time as us. So, can I elaborate on that?
Alright, so, touched on it a little bit earlier in the intro, but, so 8 on 8, facing NEAWL. It's gonna be nuts. I mean, we're putting our league's neck on the line out there, and we better get the damn W, is what I'm gonna say. I mean, hopefully we have all of our best 8 players if we voted properly, which not looking like we all did, but I just hope we get a solid 8 people for our team and we represent the league well. I mean, this is going to be a huge challenge for us. These guys have been playing football for a very long time with scuff balls, fast pitch, no speed limit, and definitely going to be interesting. Going to be a fun day. Home run derbies right after the game. And it's like a call to arms for our league. We better take home some gold. And also, the MVP of that game also gets a trophy on the spot. So it's always a fun thing to play for.
Is this something you see happening for years to come?
Oh yeah, alright, so even on the trophy, it's just first annual. We could definitely make a tradition out of this. Every year we face the NEAWL and create like a friendly rivalry, and hopefully we can get some wins in our leagues go home.
And you brought up a very good point about voting properly. I feel like there's way too many all-star snubs this season, which really shouldn't happen. I mean, there's people that have barely showed up to games that are making the team, while there are people like me and Weldon that are fighting just to stay on the team. It's pretty wild, and I mean, I know it's all a popularity contest, but it's a lot of hard work to play wiffle ball every week. I mean, it's not easy. People think it's a joke, so I feel like there's many deserving people that won't make the team.
Another thing that sucks, even like people, if you didn't like the team, I hope people still come down and support the league, which I've talked to a few people that are getting snubbed, and they do plan on doing that, which is nice. I mean, we could use that as support for the league, and it just sucks. I even like added a link to the stats, and I sent the message to everyone. We tried, but it's just the way it happens.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is, what are you gonna do? You're gonna just kind of go with it. I mean, don't hold your head down about it.
Don't let it ruin.
And just kind of, go with it.
Honestly, if anything, use it as like fuel to like just turn it on the last half of the season.
Right.
Prove all the rest of the league wrong.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of these kids are going to do that, but I think the biggest all-star snub for me, as of right now, is definitely Kyle Quintadama. I mean, that kid has been the catalyst for your team. I don't think there's any disagreement there, but his numbers, they're awesome in pretty much every category, and he's not even going to be on the team, which is very disappointing to me.
No snub. Nothing's finalized yet, but just looking at the things, Eric Lear is also at the moment snubbed, which this is probably his best
his
year
career
ever.
season.
Yeah.
This is the best year he's ever performed, and And he's made the All-Star game in years past when he hasn't had these numbers, which I don't know if the league's getting better, everyone else getting better, or what. And the Stanleys have never looked like this, so it's definitely a toss-up there.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is just, not even, it's just basically who's there consistently and who's producing consistently. That's, for me voting, that's what I looked at, and for although I've been to every game but one, and for what I was looking at for people to vote for, I was looking for people who are producing consistently, and I think that's really what it comes down to. Is if you're a player that produces consistently, you should be on the team. But however, you got to look at the standings and look at that aspect of, you have the Lemurs that are 12-0. Obviously, that team's doing something right. So if you have more than one person on that team, it's because obviously they're undefeated. And Llamas, if they're not represented at the All-Star game, also because they haven't won a game. So, it kind of shouldn't be, and it really shouldn't come down to, I saw on the Facebook page how people were kind of, trying to make their case here. It's not a class election, guys. It's the All-Star game. You just got to take it as it is. If you don't make it, you don't make it. But, that shouldn't get you down and whatnot. It's really not that big of a deal if you don't make it, and if you do make it, just do the league proud and try to get that W.
Let's go.
Exactly. Words of wisdom by Mr.
Yeah,
Brian
honestly,
Cordamo right there. That was well said.
Hopefully, just like people that are granted the opportunity to play for a chance to represent our league in the All-Star game, hopefully they give it their all, and we get that damn W. It'd definitely be nice. Exactly. We can bring home a trophy. We'll always have that to say, like, we won the first inning.
Yeah, what's coming on? Bragging rights.
Yeah, we can say that for a whole damn year.
Mm-hmm. We definitely got to do the PWO proud.
We do.
But any final thoughts?
I'm just pumped to play. I'm ready to play with the best players in my league and team up together and hopefully do some severe damage.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope, interesting to see the trade deadline coming up a week from Friday. Yeah. And I'll be excited to see if any trades are on the move, see if there's any talks on the GM page. And then after that, the rest of the season, I think the intensity is going to start to ramp up because people know, at the same time, it basically looks like every team's going to make the playoffs that have won this year. That's not true. They are. And so I think it's basically people are just fighting for position at this point in time, just seeing, who they match up best against, trying to, get that perfect matchup to get them in the championship. And it's going to get intense, and I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward for everyone to really give it their all and see how it goes through the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be insane to see how everything unfolds. But after the All-Star game, with the when the games start back up, there are actually some clinching scenarios that may be happening. So should be interesting to see. But with that, we're going to sign off. It's a pleasure to have you as always, Tom.
You as well. Thanks, brother.
This was Across the League, and we'll see you next week.
Peace. Thank you all for watching this week's episode of Weekly Wiffs. Like we stated earlier, I hope to see you this Sunday at 11:45. Even if you didn't make the team, it'd be nice to come on down and support the league. All-Star game starts at 11:45. Home run derby is immediately after the 9 inning game. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, we have a W underneath our league's name. And hopefully an MVP comes home from our league. That's it for me. Until next time, guys, I'm Tom Anderson signing off. Have a great day. Okay, we're good.
Hello, Peter Universe. This is Across the League, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Brian Cordamo. Nice to have you again.
Eric, same as
Now
well.
Yeah, but you just totally, hold on. You totally you just left him hanging.
I was like,
Fucking asshole. Alright, just do it.
I was gonna point. I'm sorry.
Just do it. You side, you fucking dig. Shit.
I did.
I
I did. I saw it out of the corner of my eye.